Hey everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're all about bringing high-quality web novel audiobooks to life, and most of our content is completely free to enjoy. Just a quick note, web novels and web novel audiobooks aren't the same thing. Simply reading a novel out loud doesn't always make for a great listening experience. That's why I go through multiple rounds of rewriting and careful editing for every chapter to make sure the narration flows naturally and immerses you in the story, just like reading it yourself. These audiobooks are not just direct copies of the original novels. I've adapted them for a smoother, more engaging experience. And to be fully transparent, these adaptations are made for commercial purposes, so some chapters are paid content. But don't worry, this process is fully copyright compliant. I do all of this because I truly love web novels and audiobooks. I'm a huge fan, and this story is one of my personal favorites. YouTube update: recently, YouTube flagged some of our content for including mature themes, realistic violence, and darker story elements. As a result, we've decided to stop uploading anything that violates YouTube's guidelines. If you'd like access to the full, uncut versions including the more intense or mature content, you can find them on our Patreon page, where we upload everything first. Available now on Patreon: I Am a Legendary Boss audiobook, Versatile Mage starting with the White Tiger Pendant, Naruto the Wind Calamity, the Necromancer is amassing troops like crazy in the apocalypse, the mighty dragons are dead, Naruto, leader of Hidden Grass Village, Naruto Uchiha's Unserious Saga, your lord has a screw loose, Apocalypse I can see the health point bar, killing monsters drops loot, Starsea Fleet Age of the Lord, my monster fuses everything, Naruto, I traveled with a max level account, Fate in Bleach Unlimited Blade Works, killed for 100 years in Hueco Mundo, Aizen invited me to Soul Society, the world conquest giving birth to become a god, my master only breaks through on the edge of death, Bleach the Invincible Slacker from Rukongai, Naruto's Special Shop, One Piece the strongest female pirate cruise, Reborn as Danzō's grandson, must I offend the entire ninja world, Naruto starting with snatching the Mangekyo Sharingan, Naruto Card King, in Hueco Mundo with Shindu template, Naruto the Hidden Danzō, my journey as 4th Kusagakure, Naruto Troublesome Ninja Haruto, Naruto the Hyuga Mastermind, Bleach the strongest Shinigami, Bleach the 5th Division Captain, Fate Ultimate Antagonist, Fate of DXD, Fate I Heard After Death, you can ascend to the throne of heroes, Fate DXD Archer Reborn, Fate beginning with Type Moon, a Berserk Heart, Fate Grand Order Insert, One Piece take the Uchiha clan to the Grand Line, One Piece don't worry, I'm a doctor, building harem and dungeon with monster girls, DXD, Multiverse the day-to-day life of the Sephiroth hero, I'm the bad guy but heroines are obsessed with me, in Naruto, I have an affair with Mikoto and Kushina, many children bring happiness, a shameless start, Naruto Reborn with a Tenseigan, Naruto sleeping Invincible, One Piece, life choice ask me to kiss marine goddess Hina, reborn as the genius son of the richest family, start by eating jacket fruit model, jacket human devil fruit, the days of being the richest man in the ninja world, the Witcher and Madara Uchiha, villain I possess the dragon Yang Dao physique, all saintesses turns into villainesses, all beautiful girls want to stick with me, interdimensional farming in another world, Naruto from Hidden Leaf Village to One Piece, and more. Most of our content there is free, and it's the best place to follow and support our work. The default audio speed is set to 3x, but if that's too fast for you, just let me know, I'm happy to adjust it. Got a favorite web novel you'd love to hear as an audiobook? Drop a suggestion. I'm always open to new ideas. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, X for the latest updates, new releases, and behind-the-scenes content. Thanks so much for your continued support and happy listening. Chapter 1, Prologue. What is life? A very simple yet profound question. This is a question that many people have pondered, yet they have never found the answer to. For some, life is just a routine. Living the life according to their routines. You can see such people on the internet, in offices, in the fields, and on your way to your home. Even now, I can see them. People who are lost in this struggle of life. Their eyes are somehow dead. And to me, it feels oddly weird. Aren't there a lot of things that we can enjoy in life? Like video games, books, music, sports, novels, manga, anime. In this age of the internet, how come people look this dead? Or, maybe they are just tired? At the end of the day, I am not a philosopher or anything. I am not a grand thinker, either. Just a young high schooler who likes to read web novels. Hey, are you listening to me? At that moment, a voice woke me up from my thoughts. The same voice I had been hearing for a while now. Shut up. Your voice is ugly. TSK. It must be genetically, then. A bitchy voice. She was not like that in her youth, but somehow, she became that way at the age of 14. Her once innocent demeanor had morphed into something more sarcastic and biting over the past couple of years. I rolled my eyes, not bothering to hide my exasperation. Seriously, can't you find something better to do than annoy me? Better than annoying, my dear brother? I doubt it, she said with a smirk, leaning against me on the bus. Right now, it is already hard to hold my balance, and with her leaning on me, it was even harder to do so. Should I just let her go down? I pondered for a second but then discarded the idea. After all, imagining what would happen if I were to do so made me immediately drop the idea. It is not like I am some sort of idiot who acts without thinking. Why are you even here? Don't you have friends or something? I asked, trying to get back to my phone. I had already stacked a lot of chapters for the novel I was reading, and it was a good moment to pass the time. Though reading while standing still can be annoying, at one point, you get used to it. Oh, don't worry about my social life. It's thriving, unlike someone else's, she retorted, emphasizing the someone with a mocking tone. Yeah. Keep telling yourself that, I muttered, trying to focus on my novel. She looked at me from the side. I could feel her gaze, looking at my phone screen. After spending this much time on public transportation, at some point, you would become someone who is sensitive to such gazes. People somehow love peeping on other people's private lives, especially elderly people. And, somehow, it is creepy. TSK. Men and their harem fantasies. She clicked her tongue with a blatant criticism. Her words made sense. I mean, they would at least make sense. If she was not an at-home game addict. Coming from a reverse harem lover like you. It is not like you are that different. I simply shrugged. People had every right to fantasize about things they liked, and nobody had any right to judge them just for their likes and preferences. That is just my opinion, but those who judge people about the things they like are generally the ones who need to be careful about it. I recently saw some keyboard activists on social media who tried to cancel a show just because a certain character looked underage, stating it was a PDF file situation, even though it was officially stated that was not the case. Yet, after their whole account was investigated, it was revealed that those were the ones who liked the real PDF file things. But, well, that is just an opinion. But that opinion certainly depicts this girl. I'll have you know, reverse harem books are a lot better executed. At least they have more than one-dimensional characters, unlike those shallow harem stories you read. People like her. They always try to justify themselves. That is why I hate the hypocrisy that they show all the time. It is just annoying. And most of the time, their claims are baseless. Once you ask for an example or proof, you can find holes in their argument. Just to do that, I raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? How come? Show me proof. She was about to answer me, but she couldn't, as right at that moment, two people left their seats, and we immediately had to take them without even considering the elderly or others. Comfort was a rare commodity on a crowded bus, especially if you would be traveling for at least more than an hour. If you stand on your feet all the time, once you reach home, you will feel the real pain, at least. Not on your feet as you might think, but on your back. But well, that is not my problem. Even now, I could feel the piercing gazes of some old people around us. Hey, old hag. Don't look at me like that, you know. You are already riding this bus free. For some reason, the government lets old people use public transport for free. They also have all day as most of them are retired, yet they choose to board the buses when it is time for students to leave their schools. For me, they just deserve to stand on their feet if they can't even manage their time well. Anyway, let's not ramble too much. It will trigger your ADHD. As soon as we sat down, my dear sister pulled out her phone and opened up a romance fantasy novel. Here, read this. It's called Shattered Innocence. You'll see what I mean. Wow. What a dramatic name. I couldn't help but roll my eyes immediately. Somehow, when books had such names, they tended to become disappointing. That was from my own experience. Shattered Innocence began with a young noblewoman named Elara, who was an innocent young girl. A classic female lead, huh? It was just your typical female lead. A naive, childish, but somehow good-natured noblewoman. Of course, she has a beautiful face adorned with elegance. A cruel fate awaits you. From the title of the book, it was not that hard to understand what was going to happen either way. But the prologue was well executed. The writer was pretty skilled in terms of constructing the main character. In just one chapter, we would have a grasp of her character and the family dynamics between her and her family. Of course, this also included her fiancé, the prince of the country. As I continued reading, I could feel my sister's eyes on me, waiting for my reaction. Elara's world was turned upside down on the eve of her 15th birthday and blessing ceremony. Betrayed by her beloved sister and her unfaithful fiancé, Elara was stripped of her dignity and cast out. The scene was intense, filled with vivid emotions and heart-wrenching betrayal. "See, I told you it's good," my sister chimed in, her voice triumphant. Yeah, I mumbled, focused on the story. The reason for that was not because the book was good or anything, don't get me wrong. There are many places where it could be executed a lot better, and many plot points felt rushed as well. The reason for my focus was simple. Since I had started something, I would need to see the end of it. Regardless of how stupid a decision is, I am someone who sees the end of it. Yes, you are right. I am stupid. But that is who I am. In any case, let us return to the topic. Throughout the book, Ilara faced numerous challenges. Each character she encountered, whether friend or foe, was richly developed and added layers to the story. Of course, there was also an academy life. If not for that, how could the writer add the reverse harem details anyway? The academy novels have already become cliché, haven't they? But well, at least the academy life was depicted in great detail, showcasing Ilara's growth and the complexity of her relationships with other students, including her sister and former fiancé who also attended the academy. Of course, with it being a romance fantasy book, there were many supernatural events alongside the history of the book. And eventually, I reached the end of the published chapters. Seeing as it read like this, I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed. Somehow, in just 1 hour, I finished all 50 chapters that could be read. But well, that is my specialty as well as my curse. She really grows on you, doesn't she? My sister said, breaking the silence. I guess, I mumbled. The character development is impressive. You don't lie. She said. Just tell me your honest feelings. I looked at her, considering. Do you really want my opinion? She nodded her head eagerly. Alright, don't say I didn't warn you. I decided not to hold back. Firstly, the writing style is too shallow. Even though the character development is good for some characters, that's not applicable to all. Many of them have their motives left out, and from the reader's perspective, this makes them one-dimensional. That's especially the case for the male characters. They all seem to be operating solely according to their emotions, which doesn't make sense. Almost every one of them is a person with a higher standing, and their positions require logical thinking and ruthlessness as traits. But, those traits do seem to completely evaporate when they somehow interact with the protagonist. She listened, her expression turning more thoughtful. Go on. Take the prince, for example, I continued. He's supposed to be this cunning, strategic figure, yet his actions are driven by whims and shallow emotions. It's inconsistent. And the way the academy life is portrayed, while detailed, falls into too many clichés. The supernatural events are interesting, but they feel tacked on rather than integral to the plot. She sighed. I guess I see your point. But don't you think you're being a bit harsh? It's a romance fantasy, after all. It's supposed to be a bit exaggerated. I get that, I replied. But exaggeration doesn't excuse poor character motivations. Especially at the first turning point of the novel. The time when the protagonist, Ilara, gets caught by the prince. That part. It was supposed to be the most important part of the novel, yet I don't get it. Who in the world cheats on their fiancé on their second most important birthday when everyone was attending the banquet? That part. I can see what you are trying to say. It is like shouting I am dumb while you are taking the SAT exam. She somehow seemed to agree with me in this part. Exactly. I continued, getting more animated. And the scene where Ilara was framed, it's so contrived? How can people be so stupid as to believe such an event? Can't they use their brains to speculate more? The whole thing feels forced. It's like the author just wanted to create drama without thinking it through logically. My sister suddenly smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. In this world, people find it way easier to believe what they see rather than think. I blinked, taken aback by her response. What do you mean? Somehow, her smile looked a bit pained. Just as she leaned back and started to talk, suddenly, my world began to spin as if the very fabric of reality was warping around me. Her voice grew more and more distant with each passing second. An immense headache struck me down, a piercing pain that felt like my skull was being split open. I clutched my head, trying to steady myself, but the sensation was overwhelming. My vision blurred, and the familiar surroundings of the bus faded into an indistinct whirl of colors and shapes. After what felt like an eternity, the pain began to subside. I slowly opened my eyes, my vision clearing. Only to find myself in a peculiar situation. Chapter 2, the place where everything fell down as the world slowly revealed itself. My head continued to ache. Somehow, my eyes could only capture the light. Yes, light. Everything in my vision seemed just too bright as if to blind me. I couldn't make sense of anything that was happening. I felt like a log, heavy and immobile, unable to control my body. My ears rang, and I felt the gravity shifting, a sense of nausea swirling through me, making it hard to keep it inside. I heard voices, distant and muffled as if they were trying to enter my ears but couldn't quite make it through. wh.miss.l.a.w.t.him? ka.th.do. The words were fragments, disjointed and incomprehensible. I tried to focus, to understand, but my mind was clouded, refusing to cooperate. Then, at that exact moment, at the tip of my fingers, I felt a slightly soft touch. It moved, a gentle, reassuring presence in the chaos of my senses. What is this? Following that touch, slowly, my vision began to return, though I still couldn't make sense of anything. Shapes and colors began to form, and gradually, the world around me took on a semblance of reality. With my vision returning, I was finally able to see the person beneath me. Yellow hair was scattered all across the ground, and the eyes were deep blue like the ocean. Yet, those eyes were widened, filled with horror. I struggled to comprehend the scene. The girl beneath me looked terrified, and I realized that I was lying on top of her, pinning her to the ground. My body felt heavy and unresponsive, but I managed to lift myself slightly enough to see the fear etched on her face. What? I tried to speak, but my voice was a raspy whisper. I could feel the nausea intensifying, the disorientation still clouding my mind. At that moment, the girl moved, her mouth opening. "Get off me!" she cried, her voice trembling with fear. She pushed against me weakly as if she was trying to free herself. But it was not like I was doing anything to her either. Her eyes were filled with tears, yet I didn't know what was happening. With the scream I had just heard right now, my head was an even bigger mess with constant ringing. Ring. I mustered all my strength and rolled to the side, collapsing beside her. My vision swam, but I could see her more clearly now. She had yellow hair and deep blue eyes, features that seemed oddly familiar yet out of place. Yet her bare skin was laid right before me. Bare? As if my pondering had triggered them, at that moment, my senses picked up a feeling. The feeling of cold. Shiver. Yes, I shivered as if I was out cold. It is cold? My body was freezing, as if the cold wind breeze had gone past it. Such a thing did not make any sense. After all, there was no reason for me to be in the cold. At that moment, I realized something was wrong. This sense of cold, as well as this sense of freezing. And the feeling of capturing everything in the air with my bare skin. That implied one thing. The fact that there were no clothes on my body at that moment. Following that, I picked up another feeling. A feeling of something lying over something soft instead of something